Hello and welcome to Sex Facts with Dr. Sonya Maya. That's me. I post about sex, relationships, and psychology every Sunday for Sex Ed Sundays. So if you like that kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications for some more. Today I want to talk about non-genital orgasms. I'm going to be talking about 10 evidence-based facts related to orgasms that you can have that aren't specifically associated with your genitals. Because yes, we can have orgasms without stimulating that area. I know, fascinating. I also want to emphasize that you can have a blended orgasm by finding an erogenous zone that you like. Something that tickles your fancy, so to speak. And if you combine that erogenous zone stimulation with stimulation of your genitals, you can have mind-boggling full body orgasms like never before. And I'm talking about on your own or with a partner, of course, too. The first fact I want to talk about is 63% of couples report that they like nipple play. It turns out that the nipple and areola area are often underlooked as erogenous zones, even though they are so sensitive. Fact number 2, 23% of women are able to have a nipplegasm from stimulation of the nipples alone, and more than half of men. And I want to talk about this for a moment. So I feel that there's a stigma in society with men when it comes to any type of getting aroused or having pleasure in a way that is not in line with heteronormative, right? So if there is a man that likes a hug or they like nipple stimulation, they might not want to even explore that because that's not manly enough, which is something I want to destigmatize, because if there's a part of your body that feels good, that makes you feel more aroused or helps you have better orgasms once you're actually in that state of arousal, then go for it. And this of course relates to the whole idea of men not wanting to explore their butthole or prostate stimulation given heteronormative norms. So let me know what you think about that below, because I think it's a huge issue and a lot of people are missing out on their potential of pleasure because of this. But yeah, research suggests that nipple stimulation is significant to female sexual satisfaction in as many as 80% of women. So yeah, 80% of women are like, yeah, this is helpful for me. I can have a better orgasm. And about 23% of women report that they're able to have a nipplegasm from stimulation of the nips alone. Fact number 3, our nipples have over 8,000 nerve endings. Yes, so that's very similar to the clitoris, which actually has more than 8,000. New research is showing it's actually more than that. But I used to say 8,000, but it's more. Small breasts tend to have more sensitivity than large breasts. Like I've said before, nipple play increases arousal and enhances one's experience when already aroused. Fact number 4 is really interesting. Research shows that when you look at an fMRI, an individual who self-stimulates their nipples, this activates regions of the brain involved in clitoral or vaginal orgasms. This is so cool. You can actually see here in this picture that there are parts of the brain that are activated during stimulation of each body part. If you take a look at this fMRI, you can see here that when you look at the nipples stimulation, it is activated in very similar areas of the brain as when you stimulate the vagina and the cervix or the clitoris. So I think that's very, very fascinating. Also, stimulating your nips can actually increase oxytocin, which is very much related to when a woman is breastfeeding their young, oxytocin gets released as well. But just the actual stimulation of your nips also releases oxytocin, even if you're doing it on your own. I thought this was an interesting study I wanted to share with you. I read a study that was done in 2019. It collected 59 women who were either placed in an experimental group or a placebo group. The women that were in the experimental group, topical formulation placed on their nips, and the control group didn't get anything placed on their nips. After 4 weeks of using the topical, 76% of women reported that they had more intense and pleasurable orgasms, pleasure and satisfaction with orgasm, versus the control group, which had a 47% increase in satisfaction with their orgasm. This goes to show the impact of stimulating the nipples or involving the nipples in pleasure for overall orgasm quality. Fact number 5 is related to the ears. So the ears are very sensitive. You might have heard people say like, ooh, I like a little ear nibble, ear massage, ear lick and kiss. The ears are more sensitive, especially for women, because they are connected to the vagus nerve, which is involved in orgasm. There are a lot of other erogenous zones too. Ears are one example, but we're talking like anus, lips, mouth, prostate, neck, finger sucking inside the thighs. Number 6, according to Otto in 1999, mouth orgasms appear to be triggered from the lips, tongue, and roof of the mouth and the throat. The mouth is the primary sensory organ since we start off exploring with our mouths when we are babies. We are using our mouths a lot to explore the world, also involved in the sucking. You're bonding with the mother through the breastises. So that actually makes sense, and it's weird to think about it that way. That might be why we have so much pleasure associated with our mouths. Of course, there's also nerve endings in there too that make that more evident. So for a lot of people, providing oral to their partner or kissing can really turn you on. You may have even had a dual orgasm and not even knew it. Let's say you were in a sexual experience where your genitals were being stimulated and you were giving oral to someone or kissing somebody. If you're having that orgasmic experience of kissing or sucking, you might have even had a dual orgasm, or it might have made your orgasm intensify to a full body orgasm because you were stimulating erogenous zones of your mouth. This is really interesting. Fact number 7 is that those who have had a spinal cord injury in the past have reported that they've been able to have an orgasm from their ears, lips, breasts, and nipples. And this is from research from the 70s.
People with spinal cord injuries like paraplegias, quadriplegias, will often develop a very, very sensitive area right above the level of their injury, wherever that is.
I find that pretty fascinating, and if you want to read more about it, I have the resources linked below. Fact number 8, I'm not going to go into too much detail because this is mind-blowing for me, but some people can even have an orgasm from imagining. So they can come up with a whole fantasy in their head if they're not touching themselves, which I think is very impressive. Fact number 9 is really fascinating as well. It turns out that those with epilepsy have reported experiencing feelings of orgasm during epileptic attacks, which is a tongue twister. And the orgasm was described as an altered state of consciousness by Davidson, 1980, which is a very interesting way to view it because I've never thought about an orgasm as an altered state of consciousness. I don't know about you, but I definitely never thought about it that way. Number 10, I learned a while ago, I thought this was pretty interesting. There was one time this woman that had a big O from brushing her teeth. Yes, very interesting.
Something in the complex sensory motor action of brushing her teeth was triggering orgasm.
I'm imagining if somebody has an O from brushing their teeth, then they probably never have a cavity. You know, most people hate going to the dentist, but if you have an orgasm from teeth stimulation, then you probably wouldn't mind going to the dentist very much. It wouldn't be very scary, would it, you know? So those are the 10 facts. I know I kind of breezed through them, but I think they're pretty interesting. Like I said, there are some more resources below if you want to look into it some more. Let me know below which one stuck out to you, because I know these are mind-blowing, but I think the whole idea here is that there are parts of your body other than your genitals that are connected to the same parts of the brain that get activated when you stimulate your genitals. So explore your body, explore your partner's body. If they're comfortable, find out what your erogenous zones are, and you're more likely to have more pleasure and more explosive orgasms in your future, which would make me very happy to hear. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications to check out more Sex Ed Sundays with Dr. Sonya Maya, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.